welcome to the third episode of Blue Musings, where we look at what it is to improvise, jam, play blues bass guitar from the heart, from an authentic place, from an honest place, and less about licks, tricks, scales, theory, much more about our mindset and our attitude towards playing. Let's start with a quote. Something I've been reflecting on. Blues is not a dream, blues is truth. So this is something that the guitar player Brownie McGhee, who had a duo with Sonny Terry, the harmonica player, once said. And check out their stuff if you've not. I'm a big fan of their work. Blues is not a dream, blues is truth. So I want to kind of unpack that, or pick out one or two things that kind of resonate for me from that quote. So the first thing I'd say is the idea that blues is not a dream. It's kind of setting up this, there's a way to be truthful and authentic in blues, but there's also a way not to be that. You could deny that by getting into blues as a dream. So what does that kind of mean? The kind of the dream. For me, that means the kind of moving away from the reality of what we're doing, moving away from the honesty of what we're doing. So I can think of three ways in which that can happen. First one, I think, is impersonating other people rather than being ourselves as musicians. My own playing is very much kind of blues based, and I've gone in different directions over the years. I've spent a bit of time studying jazz. I'm certainly not a jazz guitar player, but I've spent time learning standards, learning how to improvise over changes, all sorts of things. Folk, funk, R&B, everything. But I always come back to blues for me, because something deeply resonates about blues for me. And for me, I know that that's my kind of place as a musician has to come back for that. Now that's neither good nor bad. It's not right for everybody, for sure, but it is for me. So impersonating other people is kind of moving away from what you know to be real for yourself, and looking at why you might want to do that. Obvious reasons, just kind of looking to be more appreciated, or to be, for people to think you're better, or you're more contemporary, or you're faster, any of these kind of things. So it would be letting go of that. Second thing would be comparison, comparing yourself with other people, which we can do both ways. We can either think we're better than other people, or we can think other people are better than us. And both come from ego, both come from the narrow, small sense of who we are as musicians. And that doesn't come out the blues is truth thing at all, does it? And I think the third thing is chasing an ideal. And that's kind of this version of ourselves that's kind of just like a sort of more romanticized, better version. And we all have to aspire to be the best version of ourselves as musicians as we can, and to improve. And that's what I'm talking about. Isn't about that. That motivates us to practice more, to delve deeper into the kind of stuff that we want to do more. This is more a kind of chasing an ideal because you're not willing to be yourself right now as a musician. And that's chasing a dream. And it's moving away from the truth of your playing and your musicianship and who you are. So in terms of how can we be more truthful and more authentic? I think one, you've got to accept the rough edges of your playing. You've just got to accept that you're not perfect, your playing's not perfect, it never will be, and that's okay. And that that's not the goal. That's not your goal is to express truth. That's for me, that's certainly what I believe in improvising. It's to really express truth. It's not other things like being perfect and being admired, or any of these kind of things. I think letting go of trying too hard is a big thing. I think when we try too hard, our playing is affected by that. It gets kind of tense and stiff. And I think recognising that when we try too hard, it's a subtle way of trying to control, rather than just let the music freely express itself, let it be what it's going to be in that moment. So letting go of trying too hard gets us back to a more sort of truthful, authentic place. And the last thing would be, and it's a bit different, but it's silence. I think often, I find all my life I've overplayed. I listen to other people and I hear them overplay. I look at my students and there's a lot of overplaying. A lot of my students, if I get them to improvise, it's just a stream of musical consciousness in a way, and there's very little to break that up. So allowing silence is kind of stepping away from overly controlling the playing too, and it's learning to breathe. It's learning to let the music breathe, and you've got to. There's something fundamentally truthful about that, and there's something about letting go and allowing that to be. So that's something you can immediately kind of begin to be aware of. How much space is there in the music? Am I overplaying? Do I need to play too much? And is it why? Is it a way of trying to control the music rather than just letting the music be? So these are some reflections, some ideas, and with the Blues It's Truth thing, I got a handmade guitar strap for a birthday, and it's actually got Blues It's Truth printed on the bottom of this strap. You won't see that there. I'll put a photo up. So yeah, it's something that means a lot to me. It's something that reminds me to try and be more authentic. So hope that helps. I'd love to hear your comments below. Please like and subscribe if this is helpful for you, and hopefully see you in the next video.